Well, welcome to episode 1, I guess, since I did title the previous one episode 0, because that's what it felt like. As you may see, I have taken to residing in this ruined castle. It only seemed appropriate. It seems to be like the sun is setting now as well. Oh boy. Couple of things. I'll get to, if you're here for the ramblings, I'll get to it, but I do have some actual Minecraft to talk about just briefly, as I have, yeah, I've taken to living in this little castle thing here, but I've also taken to having a tangible goal, which is figuring out the metallurgy mod, which I have realized I'm going to need a bunch of. Yeah, if you hear random meowing and other things, that is Tinny being a little shit. He is currently crawling inside of a desk calendar. He has dropped the desk calendar on the ground. He is certainly behaving in a way. Oh, what the hell are you? Oh, it's like pilgrim or whatever. So yeah, if you hear background noises, that's him being such a great little creature. Alright, we're fine. So I'm taking to living here, and I want to figure out a metallurgy mod, which I now realize I'm going to need a bunch of copper for and some other stuff, because if we check for this, I need a crusher. That is the step 1, I'm pretty sure, of doing metallurgy, which means I'm going to need copper, I'm going to need iron, I'm going to need a machine frame. A machine frame is just more copper and iron, which means we're going to need to do a lot of mining. So that's what I've been preparing for. Here's the thing, I'm going to take... I'm already taking wood. Okay, I will say I'm not a huge fan of having to deal with these matchboxes and shit, but it's a mod, and I'll deal with it. So, today's mission is going to be digging down into the caves. I believe this is the cave we were chilling in previously in the previous episode when we were talking about how YouTubers are like horrible people. You know, slightly paraphrasing myself. Alright, it is... Oh, that's gonna be horrible because it's... the way it renders the lights. Oh, that's a cow. The cow scared me. I guess I have to give like an epilepsy warning or something, but... Okay. I don't imagine copper is going to be too difficult to come by, but... Anyway. I've distracted myself too long from being... well, distracted with stupid conversations about things. I just got done recording for... Well... Alright, that was an unfortunate thing. Tinny became too fucking loud. I'm gonna definitely keep some of that in there for the mouse, but like, where was I? Right. I just got done recording a main channel video, which is the deep dive on DaddyDaDa. And there is some contrast that is actually kind of relevant, considering what I was talking about in the previous video, which was a lot of, you know... Well, one thing I was doing a lot in the previous video was saying constantly, so I'm gonna try and avoid that and punch myself in the stomach every time I say it, you know. Ow. Anyway, I was talking about not so great YouTube influences and people in the previous episode, and it's a great contrast with DaddyDaDa. For those who don't know, haven't watched the deep dive, well, one, that's actually kind of bizarre to me. If you're watching this video, I suppose it's possible that someone has been you know, taken an interest, has taken an interest in this content without looking at my regular content. I'm gonna guess Icy Bunny is probably listening to this right now. That I'm just calling you out in real time now. Yeah, I suppose if you don't know who it is and you haven't seen the deep dive, which you can definitely go watch on the main channel, DaddyDaDa was a lawyer who in 2015, early 2015, late 2014, I guess, took on this online moniker and rap name of DaddyDaDa to make this one rap dedicated to spreading awareness, I guess, of domestic abuse and things like that, which is a very noble goal and all that, but the unfortunate thing is that he was terrible at it. The rap was just god-awful.
Heads up, guys, I'm talking to you. Life's not easy, so what you gonna do? Step to the plate and be a man. Never hit a woman or abuse a child.
There was a talented musician behind the project as well, McKinto, and so there's a pretty catchy hook that goes like, treat all women with respect, what you get is what you get. And it's like, it actually is generally kind of catchy, almost unfortunately so, but the rest of the song where DaddyDaDa actually raps is not great. And so it sort of makes me think like, well, what is more commendable? And just bear with me on this. What is more commendable? Is it to, you know, make some fucking make content that is, you know, I said it again. Make content that is quite good and even excellent, but to do so with like nefarious purposes, like if not initially, then eventually coming to like use your position and the content you've made to do some nasty stuff. But like ultimately the content you make is still really good, whatever that content is, whether it's some piece of fiction or art or music or just YouTube content. Is that more commendable if the result is great? Or is it more commendable to try and do something earnestly, like, good and do so with like the greatest of intentions, but the end result is just not up to snuff and it's actually quite terrible? And like, it seems like the answer to that question is pretty obvious. You'd obviously want to say, I mean, come on, the doing something intended to be good and doing it with good intentions and not being a horrible person is the better option. But at the same time, and again, I'm saying bear with me because this is an unfortunate thing to think about, which is which kind of content are you more likely to consume? Good content made by terrible people, or terrible content made by really good people? And I gotta say, I think there isn't much of a contest there, that we just, as human beings, we don't generally want to consume terrible content, unless you count consuming it sort of ironically, which is obviously just, I'm not going down there, by the way, which is obviously unfortunate, but I think it's just how it is. And our desire to consume content that we consider good, that we consider entertaining, that we consider to have artistic merit, is what ends up causing us to sometimes defend, in a way, or at least excuse terrible people, and sort of lampoon and mock more than anything else. Lampoon and mock people that perhaps aren't making the best content in the world, but are at least doing so with good intentions. That's just, I don't know, it's just something that came to my mind while working on the DaddyDaDa video. There's quite a lot of thoughts that I've had, not quite in a similar vein, but in, you know, interesting directions as I've been working on deep dives and now the new series of Kickstarter in the current year. I don't know, it didn't let me put torch there. Where, I don't know, I've tried to look at projects with this fairly open mind, I would like to say. At the very least, look at them earnestly without needless judgments, and just trying to be as fair and reasonable as I can be. Even if like the project is terrible, I try to be somewhat kind if I feel like the person behind that project is, you know, a good person. But at the same time, is that fair to do? Especially if we're talking about Kickstarter, where these people are asking people, like the online community, for funding, for money, like real, actual, tangible dollar bill money. And I think it's fair in the sense that there isn't really, it isn't really fair to dismiss them as human beings and to just treat them as, I don't know, vessels for the projects. And instead I've been trying to look more into like, well, who is this person behind the project? What led them to do it, and so on. Gator is a pretty good example where, yeah, if you look at the project itself, it's terrible. They're asking for money for doing just nothing, you know, Gator Poon back in the day. But then you hear how he made that project, and you're like, yeah, I can see how that can happen. How, especially with projects like, I don't know, the mashed potatoes project or whatever, where, not mashed potatoes, potato salad, my apologies, messed up the lore there. Look at those projects and you're like, yeah, I feel like anyone can make some money. I should also try to get some money out of this. I mean, hell, I'm saying this as someone currently doing YouTube, and then a large part of what I'm doing YouTube is me going, well, this is stuff that I want to do. These are things I'm passionate about, and these are things I just want to do. But obviously there's also a part of me that's like, well, I can also make money on here. Like, that's, I think it's often disingenuous to pretend that isn't the case. If I could make a Kickstarter project that is like, hey, give me $10,000 and I'll make my YouTube content, and if I had a genuine thought that it would succeed, and it would be an actual benefit to my career instead of a detriment, where people will then, for decades on, mock that, I might be like, you know what, sure, I'd give it a shot. But that's not generally how that works, of course, right? Generally that is not the case, because people do mock you for it, and people do lambast you for it, and you're just not, it's not worth the effort. But if it was, well, why wouldn't you give it a shot? You know, even if, in the case of a lot of these people, it's not a case of it actually being worth a shot, it's just that they perceive it that way, that like, hey, some people have made money on this, maybe I'll make some money on it. And then they don't. And unless someone has made a video about them, a certain someone, then the end result is, well, nothing. Nothing comes of it, and that's sort of the end of the story. but not everyone is so lucky to be completely ignored online in that way, and you get stories like, I don't know, not Gatorpoon perhaps, but Lucid Diamond Dice, where if there had been no attention towards Lucic on the internet whatsoever, at a certain point I feel like he might have ended up finally just going off to get a real job. Like, again, this is stuff that isn't going to say anything to anyone watching this without knowledge of my YouTube channel, so I have to probably elaborate a little bit. Lucid Diamond Dice is a man who tried to become a comedian slash beatboxer slash whatever else, grime stepper. Grime step is this weird noise kind of beatboxing that he not quite pioneered, but he is probably a pretty prominent example of it.
$63, 40. Damn, I wish I had a
dubstep. You like dubstep? Are you all about dubstep? Dude, I'm all about grind step, homeboy.
But like, he tried to do this and it just didn't work out, and then he went downhill real quick and became this deranged online micro-celebrity who is currently convinced that someone is after him and that royalty people, as he calls them, are trying to steal his work, right? It's not a great look, but yeah, it's obvious that there's a lot of weirdos out there, and once you give those weirdos attention, it sort of encourages certain behaviors because, well, they thrive on the attention, because otherwise they haven't been getting any. The most infamous example is, of course, someone like Christian, who I'm not going to go into too deeply, but we all know how that goes. So if you don't know how that goes, good on you. Don't dig into that. It's not worth it. But it's, the general thing is that Christian's a person where all the attention on the internet's absolutely ruined them. But and so bringing this ridiculous tangent back to nostalgia and YouTube and everything I was talking about in the episode 0, I think it's fair to say that a big portion of all the messed up stuff that people who end up as content creators on the internet, they end up doing is that, well, they end up thriving on the attention, and, well, they go off the rails because they want more of that attention, or they want attention that is more intense in a certain way than the general audience provides, and then they have these people who are under their influence, who end up almost worshipping them. This looks like something I can't break. Fuck. Who almost end up worshipping them, and I'm at bedrock already. Okay, I guess I going back up. I keep distracting myself. Who almost end up worshipping them as something just completely out of their league and WoW, and then that just fuels them in some way. I am admittedly currently, when I'm saying all this, I am having in my mind, I'm having Ryan Haywood from Achievement Hunter, where that is pretty much word for word all the stuff that was alleged about what he did. But you see that fairly often with those YouTubers. So, I don't know. I feel like at this point I should probably finally move away from the the more bleak content. I'm not just here for that, of course. And talk about something a little bit less depressing. Because I did want to talk about some other nostalgia stuff, and specifically there's one story that comes to mind when I'm trying to think of old YouTube, old internet, and old Minecraft. The one story that comes to mind is as follows, where when I was a kid, we had a really shitty computer, and I also was obviously never going to have the money to actually buy Minecraft. But the internet had provided a magical, wonderful solution to this, which allowed me to not only play Minecraft at home, but on my shitty computer, which would overheat and crash, like literally, and so I can only play it for like 20 minutes and then I have to stop so it wouldn't crash and then just go back and do it all over again. I could also play it on school computers. How? Well, there was this magical site on the internet back when Minecraft was so small that it could fit on a website like this. There was a site called MinecraftForFree.net. I want to say it was .net. It literally just hosted Minecraft on the browser. It would like save all the data to your computer, but then just played it in browser. And so I did that quite a lot, and I made some terrible skins, equally terrible attempts at maps where I actually did seeds that had my name in them and things like that, and put them on Planet Minecraft and so on. But this website existed for quite a while, until Notch, back when people still kind of thought Notch was cool, and this was one of the reasons why, he decided that instead of just sending like a DMCA and being like, hey, you can't host this thing anymore, and I think the reason was that he figured if he did that, even if the site went down, someone else would do the same thing, or even the same people would frankly do the same exact thing. So instead, he challenged them to a game of Dota, where if he won, they would take down the sites, and if they won, well, the site stayed up. And they agreed. And I found out about this because I went on the website again at school to be like, hey, I'm gonna play some Minecraft, and like show off to my classmates that I can play Minecraft on the school computer. Well, I went on the site and then it said all of that, and I'm like, what? Freaking Notch is gonna play against these dudes who were... What? And the game happened. And the incredible thing is that Notch did win. And they took down the site. They took down... I don't know, actually no, they took down the site, but they took down the... They took down the game from the site. And that was kind of amazing. And trying to imagine something like that happening now is difficult and not impossible, especially considering this was before Minecraft had been before Minecraft had been purchased by Microsoft, and so, you know, still an indie game from this small developer, just Mojang, just Notch with a lot of say in how things ran, and so something like that can happen. And possibly something like that could still happen with indie games. I think there was a pretty decent showcase of what indie devs are ready to do, essentially for the bit, was during the whole very recent thing about Unity trying to charge them for downloads, where a bunch of developers basically said, yeah, we are just going to take down our games from literally every platform and never putting them back up, because otherwise we'd be losing money. And some other devs pulled some other stunts, and you know, there's still glimpses of that sort of stuff on the internet. It's just that it is a bit more rare. And if someone straight up took their game and put it on the internet, well, they would still try to take it down, and probably take it down pretty directly. And I mean, nobody really expects a developer to try something like that, to do what Notch did there, but I don't know, it was pretty cool. I mean, another close equivalent I can think of, not in terms of, like, obviously actually doing specifically this, but sort of attitude similarity would be the Hotline Miami devs basically telling people that, yeah, you can pirate our games because they get banned in certain countries. Like, they specifically, I think, said for Australia, if you live in Australia, if you want to play Hotline Miami, just pirate it, it's fine. And I don't know, that sort of attitude just always, there's something very enjoyable about that, about that kind of attitude from a game developer, which of course runs counter to the way other game developers act, and perhaps that is exactly what's so charming about it, because there are devs that are like this, and then you have devs like, you know, I'm gonna put it this way, I don't even have to say his name. The fact that I said dev, and then just paused and like floundered for a bit as I looked for the perfect way to describe this person, I think that is perfectly enough to understand what dev I'm talking about. You know, I raise my chalice to you if you figured out who I meant, but like, that's also the thing. That particular developer has been around. That particular developer has been around for a long time as well. That's kind of part of it. That's kind of part of what gets mocked most about this developer. So that's the other thing to remember, that you might remember the good old days and all the good stuff that was happening, but you know, there's been some not so great people and not so great stuff going on the internet for quite a while as well, and not everything is changing for the worse. You gotta remember that. For example, in the previous episode, for example, I talked about how I would message Quantonium on the on YouTube directly. That was something you could do, and it was cool. Of course, it was really cool. It was fun being able to do that. But if you think about it really, it's probably for the better that it's no longer the case that you can do that, because I already talked about quite a bit. I talked quite a bit about how, you know, there are people who abuse their positions, and perhaps that is one of those things where we can all breathe a sigh of relief that you can no longer just directly message people on YouTube, because you would have people who abuse that option and just message inappropriately. You know, it would both be like non-content creators messaging content creators inappropriately and saying some unpleasant stuff. And you would obviously have the other way around, where you would have those unsavory content creators messaging their fans, trying to earn some favors or something, right? It's just, I know it's like a not a pleasant concern to have, but it is a genuine one. Just made a deep iron sword. It has the exact same damage as an iron sword, but I don't know, I felt like it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get the metallurgy thing going this recording session, since I now need a bit more copper. How long have I been recording for? 30 minutes. I think that's probably enough. I feel like my tangents today were even more incoherent, but hopefully that's going to change a little bit. I did see that I do know that ow. Oh, cow died down here, I guess. Why not? Okay, that was weird. But I do know that this content isn't quite what my current viewer base is used to and is interested in, which is exactly why it's going on the second channel. And I know that it's not going to get as much attention, especially on the second channel, but at the same time, it kind of feels appropriate to put it here, because ultimately this is a series I'm doing for my own sake. It's a sort of catharsis to talk about just random things. I usually just think about random things from day to day, as you do, and I also like Minecraft. So this is just the thing where I can ramble, I can play a bit of block game and get just some content out of it. Like I said before, if you have any input yourself, feel free to leave a comment down below. If any of the topics I've talked about are of interest to you, or if you want to hear about something else, or my thoughts are on anything else, including stuff I've talked about on the main channel, just leave a comment down there. Remember to leave a like, check out the main channel, and next time I'm going to be, next recording, I'm going to be trying to do metallurgy, because I'm going to be trying to find some copper off screen so that we can actually do that. So, until then, bye.